So this is a job we recently did and completed, and I want to talk to you about reline and what my opinion is about relining, or what people call epoxy. And if you don't know what relining is, it's basically they shoot. Just imagine they just shoot a balloon into your old pipe, and then it hardens and it becomes like a new plastic. And why would anyone go and do a reline compared to replacing the whole sewer system? And it all comes down to cost. Like you see right here, the guys are replacing from inside the house. Since we're able to go in, or it was still a mission, but we dug out all the inside of the house. Good thing there's a crawl space, so we replaced all that plumbing inside. But when we camera the line, we saw some roots, and then I told him, hey, if you want, we could reline it. And my opinion on reline, honestly, there's nothing that beats replacing and putting brand new pipe, ABS or PVC, compared to relining. There's so many people that were like, oh yeah, this and that. And it's just like copper versus PEX. Copper is always going to be better, but the price, that's all when it comes down to the price. So as you can see, where the little stick is, that's where we marked it, and we're going to put two double clean outs. And the only thing that we didn't get, and that's going to be left in this job, is this laundry stack. And we didn't remove that because we get an estimate, and because it runs all through concrete, and we can't reline the 2-inch pipe. And so from here over there is all concrete, and we would have to move the washer to right here, or else we would have to jackhammer all her underground in. I told her, well, you're just running water, so if it was a kitchen stack, I wouldn't recommend replacing it. But the chances of that failing, it's very low. And this is the area where there's just roots, so we decided to reline it. And like I said, nothing beats digging out everything and replacing it, but then it all comes down to costs. So if we have to dig out everything, not only was this a bitch, I underbid this part because there were so many rocks. It should have taken us 2 to 3 hours to dig one person in normal digging conditions, but it took us 3 guys, fucking 6 hours, so fucking 18 hours just to dig this fucking hole. So definitely did not charge for 18 hours. But that's the thing. I could have, if I was wanting to be a dick, I could be like, hey, this is a rock loss. Because you see those rocks everywhere. And this is the inside. And from there, like I said, we transitioned. So what we did, we relined it all the way through. And that's the biggest problem with foundation. You see the pipe would go down the stairs. And if we would have to replace that with new piping, we would have to break that. And are you really going to be saving in plumbing? Not really. A plumber's going to charge you for plumbing either way. You're not going to be like saving if you reline compared to replacing the sewer with new piping. Where you are going to save is now you don't have to hire a concrete guy to freaking fix your stairs that we had to break. So that's where people would rather go relining compared to replacing new. It's the damage caused, because usually when you do plumbing, there's no house. But now there's a house when we're doing plumbing. So, and like I said, I put PVC in there because I freaking hate how much ABS bends, and I'm just like, fuck it, put a PVC. PVC is always straighter. So usually when we do plumbing, we're like the first ones to go from ground up. But now there's a house in the way, and then this video is the video of the laundry and why we didn't replace it. As you can see, it's in pretty good condition. And like I said, only water's going down there, so I'm not really worried about it. As you can see, there's no roots or anything, so that's why the customer decided not to replace that section. But like the other pipe had roots in it, and that's why it's very competitive right now for them. And I got to be competitive to give them a bid to reline them and tell them the pros and cons of replacing their system. Like the pro is right now, if we do it, it's not going to disturb. It's a planned shutdown. We're going to dig, break it, remove the dirt, reline it, and her plumbing is going to be, she could go on vacation. The customer could do whatever, make plans, compared to when your piping fails and now you don't have an option. Now you got to find the plumber that's available because you can't use the bathroom, and you can't use the bathroom. It just sucks inconvenience. So that's one of the pros of doing this pre-maintenance compared to waiting for it to collapse. And like I said, this is the condition of the laundry. That's why we didn't replace that section. I was like, hey, this is pretty good. Water, that's a 2-inch line, and you can see it's almost 2 inch, which is rare for cast iron. That's 70-year-old pipe. So we didn't replace that section because it's just water. But we did decide to reline the whole house, all the main. And that's one, like I said, the main pro of relining is the money you save on damages, because you don't have to break concrete. We don't have to break concrete, and we don't have to repair. And the labor costs of digging, they save so much money compared to freaking replacing it and putting a new line. Is it better than freaking putting a new line? Oh, I don't think so. But if you could get 20, 30 years out of it more, that's a bargain compared to. It all depends on the budget, right? If this customer had the money and they feel like even though this pipe is 60 years old, and they gave me the green light to replace this 2-inch, even though there's nothing wrong with it, then go for it, right? But like I said, if they wanted to keep that same elevation, then we would have to dig around 40, 50 feet all the way down, and to tie into that 2-inch that you see on that Y. And that's why I recommended the best option would be moving the laundry and then core drilling and then getting some height and then dropping down and then hitting the new pipe. But like I said, the customer saw the condition of this pipe. They're like, they don't want to replace that, so they rather replace the outside one with roots. And so this is the video of the main. As you can see, there's some roots in there. And like I said, I gave the options of digging it out, replacing everything. And then I gave them an option about relining. I told them all the pros and cons of it. And like I said, at the end of the day, it comes down to price. And that's all it is, Because if the customer had the money, we could freaking run gold freaking pipe down the drain, down her main house, right? But that's the main benefits of relining. It's just you save so much money, and there's not a lot of freaking damage done to the person's property. That's why a lot of people are going through this technology. You can see those roots going in there. And like I said, I had to be competitive. I gave them the bid. They could say yes or no. They could look around, because like I said, it's not a repair where it failed. So they had the option of shopping around, but they decided to, since we were already doing work for them, they were like, hey, just reline the rest. So that's what we did. But you can see this is the city, and the condition wasn't that bad. But like I told them, hey, it's better to save it if you have the funds, like if you want to. If not, this is, like I said, I showed them the video. These are the roots. You want to do it, yes or no? And they said yeah. But that's the main thing. It just costs. If the customer has the money, I would say just go for it and rip out everything and break the foundation and put brand new pipe. But most people right now in this economy don't have that type of money, so they just go and decide to reline. Just like PEX, I could bid all the jobs in copper, and then no one's gonna give them to me, because I do give the option. Like, hey, there's some customers that want copper compared to PEX, and I'm like, well, here's the copper is a proven system, and I've seen places where the copper's been there for 60, 70 years. PEX, this is what the warranty is for PEX, but you never know. But yep, that's my opinion on reline. Let me know what you guys